they do? They smile in your face all the time. They wanna take
Smile in
your
your
place.
face.
Smiling in your face all the time. They wanna take your place.
Hey guys, we got this page on Facebook. It's a group called Jack World Soul Time. So make sure you invite yourself to the group. It's a private group. We ask people for their opinions and what kind of questions they have for us.
Right.
And vice versa.
Unscripted.
Unscripted.
All right. So
This is us. Live and direct. Live and direct.
Let's see what kind of questions Facebook got. Okay.
All right. The first question comes from Stephanie Harris. Okay,
Hey,
for
Stephanie.
what's up? She was the first one, so
Really?
shout out to her. Shout out to her. We might have something special for you coming your way. You might need to send us your cash out because you're in tuned in with the group.
Yay.
So, being a village to our kids, especially boys. So, how do you feel about
Wow.
being a village? The kids aren't different. People are blaming the kids for being different. But she's saying, no, it's not the kids. It's the people raising them. The village.
Oh, wow. That's good.
That's good.
That is a very good statement that you made, as well as good conversation to have. From my understanding, there is a cliche that says it takes a village to raise kids, and that's true. You know, there's a lot of truth in that. Me having 4 boys myself, it is very, very hard raising boys. Not saying that it's not hard raising girls, but it is very extremely hard as a single mother to raise boys. And what I would say to that, it does take a village. It takes a collaboration of different experiences, different types of people to give wisdom and to help out in different situations and circumstances. And I think where we've gotten off track in this world, in this time and dispensation, is now we are allowing children that we see. Like, for instance, I may walk outside and see someone else's son, or, you know, maybe in a mall and see, you know, the little boy that goes to church, you know, and we don't bring correction a lot of times to kids where they are. You know, we've gotten to this notion that, you know, we mind our own business, you know, or, you know, we don't get in other people's affairs. And I think that we're losing in our youth by doing that a lot of times, because and a lot of it is because we don't trust other people with our children. But with that being said, sometimes you need someone else to step up and step in place where you're not. You may be a working mom and you don't have a lot of time to just, you know, continue to peek out the door at little Johnny, you know, where someone across the street may see something and they could bring correction at that time. But anyway, it does take a village. It takes more than one person. It takes a family. It takes uncles and aunts and relatives and cousins and, you know,
Even neighbors.
Right, neighbors,
Yeah.
people at the church to step up and say, listen, this mom is working very hard. Let me see if there's something I can do to help. Let me reach out to see if I need to help you pick up your child from school, or
We need to help each other out.
because we all have different strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
You know, where Trevisha is strong in one area, I may be weak. So as a mother, we have to allow other people to help us as well. It does not demean you as a parent, but if somebody offers to help, like you may be good with helping a kid with math and you volunteered, hey, let me, you know, I noticed your son, you know, is not doing too well with math. Let me, you know, help you, you know, let me tutor, you know, and a lot of things too, we always want money or gain for something or clout, you know, you know, every time somebody do something for a child, you don't have to post it on Facebook. You don't have to try to demean the mother or bring someone down to make yourself look big just because you're helping out. So we do, as a people, you know, we need to be more unified. You know, and that's what love does. It's more unified. Come together and not put our mouths on each other.
Yeah.
You know, just because you see someone else's child acting out, you know, it's not your child. You should be grateful for that. And because it's not, don't mean you have to expose or, you know what I'm saying, put your mouth on somebody else's child, because you don't know what those parents are going through and you don't know what's happening with that child. So I totally agree with you. We need more help, and sometimes we need to reach out and not be so arrogant and prideful and ask for help. You know, I need your help.
That's the biggest thing.
That's
in
the
my
big
community.
yeah.
We're scared to ask for help
That's good.
because we're scared about what that person might say. Like,
Right.
such and such asked me to do this. Such and such asked me to do that.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm coming to you as a parent or a friend and I ask you for help, don't go blabbing your mouth about the situation that I just told you about. That's why we have trust issues now in our community.
Yeah.
And that's why the village is like going down, because
Oh, that's good, babe.
people are, running around talking behind each other back, stuff like that.
Absolutely, I agree. I absolutely agree. So if we come together as a unit, as a people, and when I say people, I don't mean race, because we all one race, we're a people. If we come together as a people to solely support each other, where you're weak, I'll be strong, and where you're strong, I'm vice versa. If we can do that, and our love walk is more contingent upon helping each other, then we can be a better village. Because one thing about it, even though if I'm not helping you, the consequence of that is while I'm talking about your child, he could be robbing you. You see what I'm saying? So to put a stop to some of this stuff is just simply saying something sometimes. Son, you ain't got to do that. Depending on the child, so I'm not going to tantalize you and act like everything is just that easy. But we can make initiatives. We can step up to the plate, and be a little bit more concerned with other things that we see other than just what's in our house.
It's not my business, or that's her business,
Exactly. And some things you can pray about. It just depends. So I think that was a very good question. But as a single mother, I needed a lot of help. I had my son, and I was coming out of 8th grade, going into the 9th grade. So that I didn't have the tools that it took to raise him. So with that being said, it would have benefited a lot for me to have more outside assistance, but from people than somebody saying, ooh, pointing fingers and ooh this and ooh that, and is she wrong for that, and blah, blah, blah. Instead of you putting your mouth on somebody, reach out with a helping hand, with love and a pure motive to be some assistance. I totally agree. We had another question, babe? Yeah?
Okay, that was good. I was feeling that.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. Yeah. So help our neighbor out.
Unscripted. So
unscripted.
Yeah.
We off the dome.
Give your opinion as well. You may have something deeper than what I said.
Yeah.
So make sure you leave us some comments below.
Make sure.
Yeah.
Okay. The next one.
Mm-hmm.
All right. This one goes to Jamie Freeman, my classmate, my teammate, my everything. That's my.
Haven't met you yet, but how you doing?
Yeah, we here.
All right.
Okay. She has a couple of questions. My 4th question. So we'll start off with the first one she asked.
Okay.
It says raising kids from previous relationships. This is your topic.
No, it's not. Wow.
That's good.
Now this question can go so many ways.
Yeah, it can.
So let's deal with something we have experience with.
Okay.
Now this is completely my perspective. All right, in my opinion, this is not a right or wrong, because every situation is going to be different. And you cannot take one wisdom and apply it to every situation. So I don't know particularly what you're speaking about, but for instance, if you have situations where you were in a relationship prior to the relationship that you're in, and there was a child, either a child was born, between the two, or there was a child that was being raised by the two, that is a very sensitive issue. And with that being said, you're going to have a sensitive response. Now, I honestly, personally, when a relationship is over, especially if it was a marriage, it's different, a little different if it was a marriage in place. But if it was not a marriage in place and that relationship is over, I honestly think that it's time to slowly transition out of the relationship. Not meaning that you have to cut kids completely off, especially kids that are older. Sometimes the smaller the child is, they can kind of write you off over a period of time. You know what I'm saying? Because out of sight, out of mind when they real little. You know what I'm saying? But when you got kids that's grown up with a person for 5, 6, 7 years, you have to allow time to take its course in order for them to transition out of your life. Or some of them decided they're going to stay, just depending on the situation. But as a person, that's going to be hard, and your mate has to have or be more sympathetic to the fact that when you're still linked up with the child, you're still connected to the relationship with the ex. Okay, not meaning that you're cheating, not meaning that you're trying to get back with each other, but
Some people have different motives.
right.
Yeah.
But the connections are still there, and you have to be sympathetic to that. Meaning, you have to understand that it's uncomfortable for your mate to allow. You know what I'm saying? For instance, you to go pick the child up, or the child come to this, that, and other functions. So with being sensitive doesn't mean that you have to just give in to your wife and say, you're going to forget the kid. But at the same time, the wife has to be sensitive enough to allow the transition to take its course. Because over time, things will happen and things will shift. And the person that is actually connected to the child has to be sensitive as well, meaning there has to be a level of respect there. And it's also good, like the situation we actually had with this scenario, sometimes it's good to allow the two to meet. Your wife to meet the ex, you know what I'm saying? Because she gonna pick up what she need to pick up. I will. You know what I'm saying? So, and it kind of will bring a little bit more sensitivity to the situation for you to see, or for her to see, that there's nothing fishy sometimes going on. You know what I'm saying? And it brings a little bit more.
Everybody on the same page.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's hard.
Yes.
So every situation with that is gonna be different. There's no one way to deal with that. But I will tell you this, and while she's reading that next question, people will use kids. They will. And people will use kids to stay connected. And they don't necessarily, and a lot of times, the kids are good with it either way. As long as they love and, you this, that, and the other, they good. They straight, sometimes. But a lot of times, you have to be careful with that, because if you're using a child for ill will, that is completely foul. So you got to be kind of careful with that and sensitive with that. So, what's next?
Next question. Being cool with the ex.
So I'm assuming you mean the person that you're in a relationship with wants to still be cool with their ex. Whew. Oh. That's
What's
hard.
your take on it?
That's not something I would be comfortable with.
Me neither.
Oh, okay. I know what you were gonna say.
Yep.
I wouldn't be comfortable with that. Because it's too accessible for error. That's kind of like rubbing two sticks together and don't think a fire gonna start eventually. I don't. And honestly, I wouldn't even expect you to be able to deal with that with a clear conscience.
Yeah.
To just let me deal with exes.
I wouldn't bring that to you.
What you mean, like the question?
Yeah, like, hey, I'm cool with my ex, you gotta be cool with her or whatever.
Oh,
She's
wow.
an ex for a reason.
Exactly.
So
That's very sensitive.
yeah, that's a sensitive subject.
I would think it wouldn't even be wise to bring that to me.
No.
Because all kind of bills gonna go off, in your
Yeah, that's human nature though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Somebody you just got a relationship with. It may have been a long period of time, and y'all have a lot of history, and you're trying to build history with what you got now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So why do you need to bring that situation into your new
That's a
situation?
good question. Why? Like, what would be the motive or purpose?
Cool.
Because everything that you do,
Unless y'all got kids together. Now
Okay.
that's different.
Okay, that's different.
Yeah, like if you got some kind of connection, like kids or kids, period.
Right.
That's different.
Right.
But if there's no kids involved, or
What's the purpose?
yeah, why?
I mean, why? That's a good question. Why? So you had actually, I guess the answer to this question is give yourself a why. Like
Why do
why?
I need to be cool with my
Right.
ex?
Right.
Unless y'all got the same circle of friends, but still, they should know.
That's still a little too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we gonna leave it at that.
Yeah.
Ask yourself why. Because I will be asking why. All right.
Say social media.
Social media.
Yeah.
Well,
we can just say.
oh, I got a good one on this.
Okay. Ooh.
I don't know what the question, what's the derivative of it, because it just says social media.
So we're gonna take it as how we
Want to take it?
like when we read the word social media, we're gonna interpret it like that.
Okay.
All right.
So if you're in a relationship, let's do this. I think this is a good space to put this.
Okay.
And the person that you're in a relationship with gives more attention to social media than you, that's going to be a problem. That is going to be a problem. And it's very easy to do unconsciously. Okay, because
of the culture,
exactly,
the society is.
Exactly. That's what we're molded to now.
Yeah.
Okay, but if every time she comes home from work and I'm on Facebook, or every time we're in the bed and she wants to cuddle, or the phone will still connect to her face, that's an area for competition. So whenever you put your mate in a place where they're competing with something else, it don't have to be person. It could be anything, a job, a career. You have to learn balance. That's the sole purpose for me bringing this up. And balancing your life is not easy, okay? Because I'm going to tell you this, and even the scripture says that you give more to anything. For instance, if you have two gods, okay, anything can become a god. Whatever you give more to or you start to worship becomes a god. So you give more time to one thing, the other is going to lag. Okay, so you have to find balance in life so that you're able to, if you enjoy social media and do what you enjoy, but as well know that there needs to be time that you balance it out for your relationship or career, but there has to be balance, and that's not easy. That's something you have to pray about. I had to pray about balance because I was giving myself more to one thing than the other, and once you start whatever you start negating dies. Anything you don't feed is going to die. If you don't feed a plant water, it's going to die. If you don't feed your relationship, that means to sow into it. If you're not giving yourself into it, it's not going to give you anything in return. And then after a while, you're going to see it die.
If you don't give life to your social media, it's going to die. You're not even going to notice that you haven't been on your social media account.
That's good. That's good. So you have to be careful with social media. And this is another thing, you have to be careful with how you handle social media. Like if you and your wife is going through something, Facebook does not, you don't
need to know.
Don't ever. That's a very, very bad habit to have, is to place all of your business on social media. Not just basic life. You want to take a picture every time you go to Walmart, do that. But every time you want to cuss your wife out, you put it on social media, you're giving room for people to be sitting back watching, just looking for a way to get in. So don't ever put your business when it comes to what's going on in your home with your relationship on social media. Don't do it. Period. I wouldn't do it.
I have another topic about that.
Okay.
Like, social media could be a facade. Like,
an affirmation from, or who you trying to please, or you're trying to gain clout. You know what I'm saying? What is your motive?
Yeah, because I know it's Women Crush Wednesday, and I put you on there, but I don't put you on there every Wednesday. But you my Women Crush Wednesday. Why? Who am I trying to prove that to? Am I proving that to convince myself that you're my Women Crush Wednesday?
That's good. That's good. I never thought about it. That's good. Who are you trying to convince?
Who are you trying to convince? You stand in the house, I'm standing in the house with you.
Right.
I can sit here and tell you I love you, love you, love you.
Right.
Or you're
That's good.
I can sit here and say that all day, every day, but who am I trying to prove to for social media? Why do most women need that justification? Like, I'm not on your page enough, so you're not. It looked like on your social media you're not in a relationship. So why is that important in a relationship?
So are you asking basically what is the need for women to want to be on their mate's page?
Yeah. Like
posted, plastered everywhere all the time. Wow. And it could be to convince themselves that the other person loves them, which means if you need convincing, then they're not showing it.
And it's not for you.
Right. Which means that it may be phony. You know what I'm saying? You may.
I know a couple of relationships I've posted on Facebook, but it looked at one way, but it really was another way.
Wow. So that is possible. Yeah. I then just to kind of go another way with this, I think it's very disrespectful for your mate to comment certain things on other women's Facebook page. For instance,
Giving a heart.
yeah. Yeah. Well, depending on what it is. I mean, if somebody put up a good quote, I mean.
Or is she in the bed?
Oh no, we'll do the hearts. Unless you want your phone broke. You know, you buy you another one. But my point is, I think some things is disrespectful. You know, if you got a person on social media with all their cleavage out or they butt out or something, and you putting eyes, you know, you're conveying a message to them.
Yeah.
You know, and what you're doing is disrespecting your relationship, which is gonna make everybody look like a fool. You know. Yeah. So there are certain things that just should not be. I believe that once you get married, there's certain type of pictures you shouldn't take no more. All right, you had the biggest problem with me with that.
Yeah.
The biggest problem. So I think, you know, you start.
That's why you just get an account together, Jack. So you don't have to have that problem. Just get your account together and you don't have to pay it together. You know what I'm saying? So, babe, what you doing? I'm on Jack Warren Soul Tide. What you mean? Let's look at it together. Okay. Oh, this person said this. This person. So, yeah, that's how you compromise.
Right.
You get your social media, you get some woman, you both got accounts. So,
Let's say this too. You know, I remember reading the scripture that said, "You seeking, you shall find." Okay, it didn't say what you'll find, but if you seeking for anything, you're gonna find it.
you gonna find it.
With that being said, I think a lot of things, you know, when you're in a headspace where your intuition, which is a lot of times the Holy Spirit, sometimes a different entity, but when you're starting to feel something, there's a friction in the relationship, and you go seeking, you're going to find something. Okay, so me personally, I have my own standard. I don't look for nothing. I believe anything that I'm supposed to find or know, God is going to show me. You know, once He gives you something, then you don't write it off. It is what it is. Ain't no need of you trying to call the motel to see if they there. They there. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
If it was meant for you to find out,
you're gonna know.
You gonna know.
So don't go through the phone. And then why set yourself up to hurt yourself?
Yeah.
You know, because it could be something innocent, and it could be something that, listen, was not innocent, but God or they are going to nip it in the bud at a period of time. Yeah. But if you find it in the midst of it going on, you're going to hurt yourself. This is what I ask myself a lot of times about women randomly, like when I'm counseling women. You know, when you find it, what you going to do? What you going to do with it when you find it? Can you even handle what you find? Because you're looking for it.
Say it again, babe.
When you find it, can you handle it? Can you handle the truth?
And what you gonna do with it?
And what you gonna do with it when you find it? You're not going nowhere. You're still gonna be there. Now you there and hurt. You know, so whatever that's you're supposed to know, God will bring
Talk
it to you.
To me, Pastor.
And when He brings it to you, you're conditioned for it already. Yeah. But if you get it before time, then you got to manage it by yourself.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah. Okay, stop.
Yeah.
Okay.
She ain't good on that. You know.
Okay, babe. Next question.
The next one. This is a good one.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Come on.
You ready for?
I'm ready, babe. Come on.
Nosey parents, especially moms.
I'm a mother, so this is kind of deep. I don't just invade their privacy, and because everybody that I see my kids with, I don't necessarily like. Okay, but I don't just give them my opinion unless they call me needing some type of, you know, discernment or, you know, my gift to come into play.
It do go with growth. You know what I'm saying? So they're growing.
Yeah.
So I want to say, like, the aspect of being grown. You have your own household.
Yeah.
You know, so what advice you would give? Well, I just say don't do it. You know, don't get your mom involved in, you know, what's going on in your house, because as she said, that your mom holds you to a higher standard. They love you. So when somebody hurt their baby, you hurt them. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to leave that bad taste in your mother's mouth from, we said this on the last video.
But I'm wondering if she's going another way with this question, though. Like, I'm wondering, is the mother nosy? Because we're speaking from the aspect of being moms.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering if we should put ourselves in someone's shoes that has a nosy mother. That's kind of where I'm thinking this question is going. And you do have nosy mothers. And a lot of time, just nosy altogether, the circumference around that word nosy is because the person doesn't have a life of their own. You can't be nosy if you don't have the time. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times when you find parents that are nosy, they don't have anything outside of their children. Like their life is centered around their children. So if that is the essence of who they are, then they're going to be in your business. Yeah. And if that's the case, then you have to get them out. But you have to do that transitionally again, because if you just go in, like just to give an example, if I'm married, this is my wife, and she has a mother that they're very close. So it would be foolish of me as a wife to try to tear a relationship apart that has been so closely knitted for all of these years and years after. You know, you see what I'm saying?
Because mama gonna be there.
Because not only that, you know, it will put me in a place to now have a battle. You pick and choose your own battles. Yeah. Now I'm finna battle a situation that I don't even have to put up a fight for, because my position as a wife and her position as a mom is completely different. We bring two different things to the table, so there's no need for competition. So with that being said, I would transition my mom out of my business, you know, like a little bit at a time. I wouldn't just go in and, you know, my wife said,
yeah, you know, don't never say your wife said that.
Or whatever, you know,
you know,
but slowly but surely, you know, and you can say things to mom without being disrespectful, you know, like, Mom, you know, that's my wife, let me handle it. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever it is, without putting your mama in a place where she starts to hate the other person. You know, that's very sensitive.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, because when you do that, you can have a battle for no reason.
No reason.
You know, and that you might as well bond and be unified, you know, so let things take its course over time. Now, just to get off subject, when a person gets married, scripturally, they're supposed to come out of the nest. You know, your marriage or your relationship does not include mom. That's totally opposite ministry than parenting. You know, so you have to have balance even with that. You know, you have to have time with mom, and you got to have balance so there won't be a war. Yeah. You know, and if you got mom and children and career and wife, that's a lot. And that's why people shouldn't ask for marriages or be envious and jealous of things, because you have no idea how much you really got to handle, because that's a lot. You know, so and if I was a mom, I recommend just staying out of, it's less burdensome to you to put your children in God's hands. And because if you really think about it, babe, like for instance, me, with my boys marrying, it takes the weight off of me.
Yeah.
So everything is perspective. It's how you look at it. Yeah, but if you're looking at it, you know what I'm saying, from the perspective of my child being taken and, you know, my child, I can't talk to my, if your perspective is negative, if you see that glass half empty, then you're going to respond in that manner. That's how your mannerism is going to be. But if you look at it from a positive point of view, look, now some of the weight off me.
Cook all the time.
Exactly.
You ain't got to drop your clothes on for me to wash it. I got somebody handling that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It'll make you be more susceptible to be more bonded, you know what I'm saying? And it's the truth. Yeah. You know, you want your children to be able to get into a space where some of the burden is lifted off of you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm be glad when mine get married. I ain't telling no lie. You know, because they called me back. If they got a cold,
I love it.
Mom.
Yeah.
What I supposed to take? You know,
it's cool. I love it. So,
you know, so it's not gonna bother me at all. You know what I'm saying? That they don't got them a wife. I'm gonna pray for them, you know, and stay in my position, because I don't have a need. Now, sometimes you have mothers that have needs, and they'll try to use children to fill voids. You know, so you gotta be careful about that. So as a mother, I would advise a mother to try to find them something else outside of their children to be recreational, so that they can be allow their children to be a little bit more private in their relationship. You know, so just balance. It just needs balance.
That was good. Yeah. since you guys are the only ones that commented.
Yeah, they did, huh?
Yeah. So when y'all see this video, make sure y'all drop your Cash App. We only had 2 people. 2 people, right? So it's money time. So Stephanie Harris and Jamie Freeman, y'all make sure y'all drop y'all Cash App in the comments below, and thank you for participating.
Thank you.
And I hope we gave you some kind of advice or
we hope we help you with something.
Something.
Yeah.
You know, it was good. It was
really good. It was scary.
It was
but it was good. It was good.
It was fun though, right?
It was fun. It was very fun. We need to do this more often.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I guess we're gonna get a lot of people to
stay respectful with your questions, but ask us. We're not ashamed or afraid to answer. And if we don't have an answer, we're gonna say we don't make up nothing for you now.
We're gonna try to interpret it the best way we can.
Right. So be a little bit more specific maybe with your question. Yeah. Just in case we don't understand what you're asking.
What's going on? This is our first time.
Yeah, doing question and answers. Yeah.
Yeah, so
that was cool. We did good, baby.
Yeah. All right, y'all. We gone. Peace.
And I got Fendi on my back, so you know I got eyes. And these Cartier frames gon' see right through your lies. Gotta watch my back, cause a nigga out here wanna try me. Don't try me.